February's tough. This is a rough one because it's always the coldest of the cold. The snow is in. It's not melting off now until it finally goes for our kick into late winter to fall spring. But we're not even there yet. And it can be tough on you mentally. Depression can really be exacerbated this time of year and certainly during a pandemic. Let's welcome in the good doctor now for his thoughts on this. Talking about Dr. John Braccio with Regional Psychological Services in East Lansing, who's on the other end of our line. Good morning, sir. Welcome.
Well, good morning to you, Dave. And without a doubt, depression really is a horrible thing. It causes so much conflict with the person and with the person they interact with because they have so many issues interacting with others because others just can't fully understand, what is happening, what is really going on. So, and then add the COVID on top of that. So this is an ongoing problem that, really impacts millions of people throughout the United States and the world. And it's a horrible condition because it not only stops persons from functioning effectively, but has them continuously feeling emotionally lost. It also affects, as I mentioned, everyone around them. And it can really impact sometimes negatively long-lasting relationships. And really typical symptoms would include persistent sadness, fatigue, crying, lack of concentration, irritability, suicidal thoughts, poor concentration, low self-esteem, poor motivation, and appetite changes. So these are the hallmarks of depression, and when you have them, it's pretty hard to overcome them, even though I have a number of suggestions here that one can do to overcome them.
When people come in to consult with you, and they come in and they say, well, I've been having a problem with X, with Y, and Z, how often is it that you listen to them and you are taking notes, and at some point you say you're depressed? And that maybe that word had not come up. Does that happen frequently?
It does. A lot of times people don't want to be depressed, or they don't like the word. It sounds kind of funny. Or they have just thought this is the way I am, this is the way circumstances are.
Right.
They never really put a name on it. Okay, not that I'm trying to give the person just automatically a diagnosis, but if you have some of these characteristics I mentioned, then obviously you are depressed and you're going through a hard time. And so that comes up to the next question, what are things that people can do to really overcome depression? And I just will list some of them here. We replace negative thoughts with positive ones. Seek out support at a professional, family, friendship level, or some combination of the above. We acknowledge the depression and do not deny it this way. If it's identified, you can try to overcome it. Then do positive things, focus on problem-solving solutions and try them. Do deep breathing or relaxation or hypnosis, Pilates, yoga, or any other technique that can help release body tension in your body and allow you to seek positive thoughts and feelings. Mm-hmm. Seek out a hobby or activity that you have great interest in or one that you could develop an interest in. This becomes, I think, an important thing for you. And then doing something, anything. It's healthy just to, whether you walk around the block, whether you go from the bedroom to the kitchen, just to do something. And also always, certainly working with your family doctor in terms of potential medication that could also be helpful in the process. And I think in the middle of COVID, if comfortable, I think getting vaccinated could certainly eliminate for many people a lot of the depression, the concerns of this invisible virus floating around. So there are things that we can do, but depression is difficult, particularly in the winter when we have the seasonal affective disorder on top of everything else. So it can be a real difficult time, but it's also a time that we can look forward to making changes. And even though it is the midst of February, I agree with you, in a month and a half, we can be looking and realizing there are going to be some changes, and also be aware some people love winter, so we don't want to turn everybody into a winter hater or anything. But
exactly.
These are difficult times.
There are people out there who are winter lovers. I'm not one of them, but that's okay. But I got something to look forward to. I can see way down the road. I can see summer there. But, for someone who has depression now, is it something that you can, when you diagnose it, can you help them both control it? Is it ever fully overcome? Or if you've been diagnosed as a person with depression, is it something that's always there, Doc, in the background, and you're trying to keep it down, but it never fully goes away? How does that work?
I think it's a continuum, Dave. I think some people have this tendency to depression, and it can be a combination or singly, or it could be there's certainly a chemical imbalance that can lead to this. And also there are people that just are negative thinkers. They've never been able to think positively. And when that happens, it's very hard for them to not go back to a default position of negativity, meaning they could work at being positive. But people that have grown up in a negative environment, and you could even say, boy, it's really a nice sunny day, and someone say, it's not going to last very long. You know you're not dealing with Mr. and Mrs. Positivity when you run into that.
True.
But I think most people have had some form of depression in their life anyway, or they will have something. So I think people can overcome it. I think when they try to be more positive, they better understand the condition. They're not ashamed of it. They're more willing to talk to people, move forward, try to take control. So I'd say that most people can overcome it. Some have this tendency that's really hard to get back. If you are raised negatively and you learn negativity, those become default positions. So often people just fall back, and when they're in difficult times, those tendencies can even come forward. But at a positive level, I think most people can overcome it. Most people at least get better, and by just through understanding, talking about it, and moving forward, people can improve and can have a really a good life. No point in having a negative life if there's any way that you can turn it around and make your life more satisfying and more happy. And that's part of what I believe I try to do. I think you actually do the same thing with the show, that you're bringing people on, you're enlightening people, you're entertaining people, you're doing a lot of things. So where actually anyone who's working with people and trying to do something useful is actually working against depression and helping people be more positive and move forward in a positive way of life.
I agree with that too. Yeah, as far as it goes, because I in the business I'm in, if you dwell only on the negative and kind of get caught in that, whirlpool going down, it can be very difficult. You have to kind of push it away a little bit and yet be, real about what's out there and not fantasy land. So it's at times that's a difficult one to walk. I think a lot of people, depending on their profession too, there can be things there that would exacerbate. So you've got to be aware of that. Not everybody is, I guess, doctor, mentally fit for every profession and job in the world. Some people are ideal, others are clearly not. But that could probably lead you into a position here where you could become depressed as well. When your profession though deals with this better now than ever before, doesn't it? In terms of how to help people.
Well, I think it does, and there's also a good relationship between psychologists and generally the family physician. There can be a psychiatrist, but generally it's the family physician, where people can work together in terms of the appropriateness of medication. But basically, I'm kind of upbeat on depression or anxiety because I feel that everyone has the opportunity to move forward and make changes, and that to me those are positive thoughts, regardless of the negativity that you've worked yourself into. There's always the possibility and the opportunity to move forward and be more positive. I mean, that's just a good thing, because there is a lot of negativity in the world. I mean, you can just pick up the paper or look out the window, drive around, and you can see.
You don't have to search for it; it'll find you. Yeah, it'll find you.
So you might as well try to find positive things to get some balance in life. And then, if in our life, if we're trying to do things that are helpful to people, then we are, in our own way, whether we're a psychologist, whether we're a radio person, whether we're a neighbor, whether we're a family person, whether we're whoever we are, if we can impact people in a positive way, then we are all helping get rid of depression, which is, like I say, a horrible thing for someone to have to carry and work with. But it is something that can be overcome. And hey, why not make changes? Why not be positive? Why not try to replace negative thoughts with positive ones and move forward? Those are positive things and things to do.
Yeah, and it's also positive admitting that you've got this problem here and tackling it. That's the first step in overcoming
Yes.
depression. It can be tough here with COVID. It can be tough when you add in, as the doc said, the seasonal affective disorder here. But it's a huge problem in these United States, and I might add in many, many other countries of the world. We're not alone in this, clearly, but it can be overcome. And we hope that this is of some help here today. We always do with our good friend, Dr. John Braccio, Regional Psychological Services in East Lansing, drjohnb.com. When you go to that website, all the podcasts and other media are there. It's always good and positive and uplifting to talk to you, my friend.
Well, same with you, Dave. And listen, the choice is being negative or positive. Let's push the positive button and move forward and have a happier life.
I like it. I like it. It's good stuff. Thank you, sir. We'll be back here on the Morning Wake Up. It is good advice. We're back here on the Morning Wake Up, 1320 WILS.